Do you have things to say?
Yeah, I have so many things to say. I'm furious about so many things.
We're about like halfway through and you're like, I don't think this is my favorite episode. But it wasn't a bad episode.
No.
Don't confuse that to mean it was a bad episode. But it was a tumultuous episode.
Just like finally steaks all of a sudden.
Steak to go with some of the eggs
some of the
egg on your face.
It is. Egg all over my face. Fuck me.
It is so rude.
I know.
Hello, everybody. I'm Will.
And I'm Kristen.
And this is So I'm Watching The Gilded Age, Season 3, Episode 6.
If you want to cook an omelet. Broken eggs all over this bitch.
Gotta get these plots going.
Okay.
George.
Sure, fine. Business.
Numbers.
He's been cut out because this Risley Sage guy has hired Clay. Obviously, it was a humongous mistake for George to fire him.
But this is still the railroad.
Yeah.
They're still trying to build the cross-country railroad, and they're still trying to take it up through. I guess New York is on par with Chicago.
It's just like Chicago's the only other hub.
Okay.
So it's like New York, Chicago.
But that's who
California.
These other people are, is the Chicago Railway people.
Well, the Merrick that came to dinner last week, and then he brought his brother. And basically what needs to happen is somebody needs to walk away with 51% of their railroad because they don't even have 51%.
Okay.
And so they do finally make like a gentleman's handshake agreement that they'll give it to George because Risley Sage is going to suck it dry and like not do anything. But George is trying to like make the business flourish again because they'll be the connecting railroad that goes like across the whole country. Well, then Clay like facilitated a newspaper article about how Mr. Russell's business was in trouble.
Finally, we've been waiting for it to come up, and all they really said was that he's stretched tighter than a drum.
Yeah.
So I don't know that there's necessarily. I was afraid things were double dipped, but basically there's not enough money.
Yeah, he's just like
promised more than what they can
between the dowry and the mines, and now this railroad thing. It's like there's three hands reaching for the same money, and so that causes all of the Russell stocks to like start dipping, and it's like a whole thing. And basically what we get is that they are going with Risley Sage, I think. And George was like, if the business isn't going to be successful, I'd rather it burn. Like, I'm not going to sell my stuff. I'm going to let it burn to the ground. And I was like, Lee. Yeah.
Marian.
God, Marian.
You were like spitting mad during a reaction. Watch her just like come apart at the seams about this. So
this bitch. I cannot.
You ever have like one of those friends who always seems to be like getting the shit out of the stick? And then you realize it's like, wait a minite, are you giving yourself this stick?
Why do you keep grabbing up a shit-covered stick? Also, this is going to do so much damage to her reputation, and Agnes seems to have not a care in the world because she just doesn't like Larry and Bertha. She has found out that he went to House of Ill Repute.
Well, we were wrong last week.
Oh yeah,
we thought that it was basically Delmonico's is another place. He just lied. Which does make it worse.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was a 2-part evening. I thought we were having dinner at Delmonico's and then going to the whorehouse. And apparently we only went to the whorehouse.
And I thought maybe even the whorehouse was like attached to Delmonico's, or it was like
whatever.
Back room.
Here's my thing. Obviously, this is a different time. And the thing is like if Larry had been like, by the way, I'm going to my buddy's bachelor party at the whorehouse tonight. That would not have been better for Marian, because she's like, the worst part is that I didn't hear it from Larry. And I'm like, you stuck your friggin' nose in this. You are the one that sniffed this out. You could have just let it lie. And now she is calling off the engagement and delivering a letter to church, and there's no way I could possibly be with him now. I'm sick of it.
She's acting like she found him like strangling orphans.
Or like in flagrante, like she caught him with a prostitute.
Yeah, sure.
And Oscar is like, I'm sure you have nothing to worry about.
What was the whole Laura Benanti thing? Like,
that was just like an affair.
But people knew about it, though.
Bertha knew, but it was kind of like an open secret.
Yeah, so I don't understand how she can be so shocked. I mean, I guess her other issue is that it's the evening of their engagement.
I think it's
that's
that,
where
and
the
also
fact that it's like the bachelor party, and he was taking Jack out. They were celebrating. Multiple things happened, Marian. Yeah. You have a right to be you have a right to be
annoyed.
You have an issue.
Yeah,
but not and multiple characters. It is a Marian thing because multiple characters were like, without even giving him a chance to speak,
explain,
like.
He's 40 states away in fucking Arizona. This is the most I've disliked Marian, and I can already hear the comments. I know I'm looking at this through a modern lens. Blah. I think it's kind of dumb. I think what she's doing is kind of dumb to unilaterally cancel this engagement. So when he gets back, he's going to be sucker punched with the worst news he can imagine after he's found copper in them there hills.
With whoever that man is.
Peace.
All I know is he said shaft a lot. There was just one shaft, but I'll tell you what, one shaft is all you need.
Don't worry, they're going to put in some more.
Shafts? Okay.
They are. No, I just like it's so short-sighted. She's also like, she's taking it on in such a martyred. It's also, nobody knows about it except for other men. And the thing about.
She's also running through it. Like, she's bolting through this plot.
She is speed running through canceling this engagement. And the thing that bothers me is Agnes is like, well, you can't have a man like that. You've got to get a good, strong man in society. And I was like, every single one of those men has been with a prostitute. You are lying to yourself if you don't think every single man in New York City has been with a prostitute.
And again,
you're not going to find an unsullied husband for Marian.
Well, and again, that's the initial point you were making, where it's like, she happened upon this information. It's not like he got himself into trouble a la Oscar, or like there was like a raid, or he knocked up, you know what I mean? Yeah, or that he was actually even like in flagrante. It's like,
we watched him turn down a prostitute. Mm-hmm. So that for me is, it's like, obviously she doesn't have that information, but if enough people around you are like, I don't think you should be making this decision on such a rash basis, I think you should listen to those people. Mm-hmm. But also it's like, for the first half of the season, she was like, I just don't know if I can do it. And I want to be sure. And I don't know. And so it's like, it's as if she's trying not to be married. Mm-hmm. In which case, stop getting engaged. Like, killing me.
We can go to Ada. Ada figured out.
That was actually pretty amazing.
It was quick.
Yeah. But she's seen her 3 times now.
Yeah.
That we know of. Mm-hmm. So yeah, she realized that Madame Dashkova is a fake.
Phony, a charlatan.
And it was basically because she had only read his name in the paper, so she thought his name was Luca Forte, and she
just assumed he was Italian, so she
said a message in Italian, and Ada was like, that's odd.
She's not as dumb as she is. If there's one thing that's true about Ada.
Yeah. So that was that. I'm glad we're done with that, because as soon as she was back in that house, I was like, God damn it, Ada. What are you doing? But it was very swift after that.
It seems like it was just like, as far as scams go, like, it's not like she was funneling money out of her or, something like that. Yeah. It seemed like it was just sort of like, they didn't have therapy back in the day.
Right.
Like, she was going to Madame Dashkova to get like words of wisdom from her husband.
Yeah.
I get it. I get the whole thing. And I think it's good. I like kind of where she came out of it.
I'm glad we're done now.
There's 2 more episodes, and we have to see if the sends her back into temperance or.
She seemed lighter at the end of this episode. She also didn't go back into full mourning. She was still wearing gray and stuff.
That's a good point. So maybe. Yeah.
And also she had to. So how much money Jack has made is still traveling around the house, and Armstrong took it upon herself to spill the beans, because a lot of people downstairs are feeling like judged and like patronized too. And I was just like, it's you.
I would want to know. I would need to know the time, the time frame, the like how much time has passed
Mm.
for me to have a strong opinion on this. Because
Like how long he's been keeping it a secret?
Yeah, well, yeah, just how much time has passed in the last 3 episodes.
However,
it's like anywhere between 3 weeks and 3 months is typically.
Roughly however long it took Larry to get to Arizona.
Yeah, because it's like, so he happens upon this money, and we'll get to Gladys's plot in a minute, but it seems like there's not a lot of like teaching and preparing, and like there's not a lot of Ada transitioning isn't something that's happening in this show, in this world, on this season.
Well, and
there's a lot of shoving people out of nests and off of things.
Because also his only sort of like beacon in the whole thing is Larry. Larry was the one taking him to the tailor and taking him here and taking him to the whorehouse. And he is in Arizona, so he can't even like ask Larry what's going on.
And receiving an ungodly amount of money just because you, in theory and even in practice, have that money doesn't mean you're ready to be on your own.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't know how many times do we have to look at Jack's poor puppy face going, this is the only house, the only home and family I've ever known.
And so I'm like, can there not be a transition period? Like, can he not finish out the season or the year, or like, is there a middle ground that we can
he's getting his ducks in a row?
Yeah, kind of.
Can he move into a guest bedroom?
Because he's going straight to because I started to be like, what, he's just going to live in a hotel? And I was like, well, I mean, with the amount of money he has, yes.
That also was a thing, kind of. It's like, I mean,
it is a thing for the wealthy now.
But I've read, like, books that take place in roughly this time, and it's like, sometimes that's just what you do when you're, like, between stuff, so.
Like a general, because they were talking about, like, I don't remember the club that Hector was staying at when he was in New York. But It's like the YMCA, but nicer.
Yeah, way nicer.
But yeah, I don't know. They're very. I like the sentiment of it that
and Ada delivered it so nicely,
better than anyone.
Better than Agnes would have done for sure.
But I also don't want him not on the show.
I don't think he's going to not be on the show. I think he's going to stay on the show. I just think he's not going to be their servant.
I feel better about that.
I mean, I could be wrong. I was super fucking wrong about this, so who knows?
Just a mile away.
I know
there's a train coming this way. And you guys were like, what? Never.
The train's not due. Before we get off of Jack completely, he did also leave money to everyone. Basically return
20 times
their investment.
Nice.
So nice.
Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Well, so that is kind of, I mean,
I'm a little worried for Ms. Bauer. She doesn't need fast money.
I mean, we have not heard again about the
no.
gambling, so yeah.
She might have learned her lesson. Maybe she should get hers in installments.
Yeah. It was just like wads of cash in these envelopes. So he did for the downstairs, and also Armstrong, even though she didn't donate, he still gave her money. And she was like, why? And Mrs. Bauer was like, because he's a good, kind boy, and we've all known it all along.
You miserable hag.
Yeah, she's horrible. And he also returned the investment of Ada and Agnes and Marian. And Oscar was like, well, now I kind of wish I had done it.
You were afraid Oscar had pocketed the money, Marian's money.
He snatched it right out of her hand, but at the end,
invested it in his future.
Yeah. So speaking of Oscar, he does go back to the Haymarket and he finds Maude, and she's trying to do I'm Dolly Trent again, and he's like, yeah, fucking right. And so one of the pimps, I assume, comes up and is like, what's going on? And he's like, I want some time alone with her. And they go up to room 12. Where she starts undressing, and he's like, absolutely not. I'll pay you to put more clothes on. And he's like, what happened to the money? And I guess the Crowther guy was actually the brains behind the whole operation, and he screwed her too.
I kind of figured that it was like one of like the pimps.
Yeah,
kind of what I figured.
Well, it was the guy that was working in the office.
Yeah.
That Oscar kept meeting. So he's not a pimp, just like a con man. I mean, maybe he's a pimp. Who knows? But basically, he's like, where is the money? And she's like, I have no idea. Like, I don't have any of it. This is obviously, you can see what I've been reduced to. And he's like, don't you have anywhere you can go? And she says, only a sister in Sandusky, but I'm like working off a debt here and I can't really do anything.
I'll tell you, I didn't want this plot at all last week.
Yeah.
And I actually liked it a lot.
Me too. It actually like really shows a lot from Oscar.
Oscar need. I mean, I find Oscar both likable and interesting, but he is complex, and it's like we needed to see him
be kind.
Yeah.
So at the end, he has her meet him at the train station where he has bought her a ticket to Sandusky and given her $100. And she's like, what the hell? Like, I ruined your life. And he's like, yeah, but you shouldn't have to like live this way. Just like, don't come back to New York.
And also it's sort of like, I don't want to be
mad.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to be responsible for that. Like
Yeah.
if I can, you know, clear this out, level this, because I mean they were kind of in a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like if I can give you a clean slate, then you can no longer blame me or like
vice versa, even. Yeah. So that was really nice. And then he had lunch with John Adams, and they were making plans to see each other on Tuesday for another client meeting because John Adams is the best. And then they just straight up looked at each other and got closer, like they couldn't resist kissing each other in the street. And then John Adams walked into the street and got hit by a fucking carriage.
I like haven't. I was so wrapped up in seeing it coming that I haven't processed that I'm sad. Well, I thought that maybe it was not that it was a fake out, but I thought that we were going to see him in like comical like bandages next week.
No, there is a funeral next week. Man, rip. That face. Look at that face. Poor Oscar had to watch it too. Horrible. Not a fan.
I just kind of, I don't know. Because they weren't really doing anything other than each other.
They had broken up. We did not see them reestablish a romantic sexual relationship, but still.
I'm okay with it again because I saw it coming, but there is a part of me that's going to ponder what an end game could have, because I mean, if you get rich enough.
Yeah. Just two bachelors hanging out.
I was reading about Cary Grant and what's his name?
Oh God. Cary Grant.
They were the best of friends.
Yeah. Just good friends. So that sucks.
You screamed.
I did scream.
If you want to watch along with us.
I did scream.
Peggy.
Oh yeah, Peggy. So she's back from Philadelphia. And she stumbles upon Marian absolutely just flagellating herself about this Larry thing. And she is feeding into it too. She's like, oh my God, I can't imagine. It's ridiculous.
The two of them can get each other worked up.
Oh yeah, it's just like a fucking feedback loop. So so she gets back. She has like a meeting with Dr. Kirkland.
A good meeting.
And where she's like, this is what happened with Mr. Fortune. Was both of our faults. I can't give him all the blame.
Well, I love that she was like, I want to explain. And he was like, you really don't need to. And she was like, I want to.
Yeah.
And so she did. And he thanked her for it and was like, we all have pasts, you know, it's okay.
I think she was also going to tell him about her husband and the baby, though. And he was like, don't worry about it. And so now that's still kind of looming. And I do feel like that might be the bridge too far. But but he seems like such a reasonable man.
I was thinking, and this is kind of spoilers. It's from that like preview of the back half of the season. But I was thinking that the Mr. Fortune was going to be what the gossip that his mother heard. But now I'm thinking it's the baby and the husband is going to be the gossip that she heard.
But it's going to be a game of telephone. So it's not going to. Yeah.
Elizabeth Kirkland.
It's going to be a game of telephone, so she's not going to have all the right information, obviously.
He does, apparently, because one of the previous times when we were talking about this plot and them, I was like, maybe he's never met his mother. And he apparently has met his mother, does know what she's like, but is just going to pretend like, I mean, you know how men and mothers can be and stuff.
Well, also, it's like, I get what he's trying to do because the woman that Peggy went to interview is coming into New York and she's going to give a talk. She does it in small groups so that then the women will go disseminate the information as well. And Dr. Kirkland asks if his mother can come. And Peggy's like, oh, I didn't know she was like interested in suffrage. And he was like, well, she's interested in ladies' teas. And so she comes.
Do you think he's just giving his mother too much benefit?
I don't think so. I think he really wants his mother to get to know Peggy. But
I think he thinks that if she spends enough time with her, she'll come around, in which he's giving her too much credit.
Then yes. Yeah. So she ends up getting in a fight with the suffrage woman about how she thinks the
was
woman's
a lady I wouldn't go toe to toe with.
I mean, you could say the same about Felicia Rashad.
Sure.
But no, it was just back and forth about how, like, we need to just lift up the men. They'll give us a seat at the table. No, they won't. No, they won't. So we just sort of, like, it ends with the suffrage woman being like, well, I disagree. Goodbye. And so when
There was... Go ahead.
just when Dr. Kirkland comes back, Peggy's like, did you not tell her what this was? And he was like, well, she wouldn't have come otherwise. And I'm like, maybe she shouldn't have come.
There was an interesting scene in the carriage. They've done it... Well, they do it a lot on the show. But I like when two characters, not our main characters, get in a carriage and have a little bit of... I feel like we're getting a glimpse into, like, behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Where he said something, I don't remember exactly, but alluding to the fact of, like, I thought you would like a woman that would do this, or you would admire or respect a woman that would do this. And she was like, well, I do, and I would, but that's not a wife. A wife is something different. And whereas I don't agree, I think that's an interesting distinction, and I think it's interesting.
Well, it was a lot also of Peggy being like, we can't...
Peggy has ambition.
Peggy has ambition for sure, but the scene at the suffrage meeting was a lot of Peggy being like, we have to fight, or we can't just be complacent or nothing will happen. And Mrs. Kirkland being like, well, that's not our place. And her being like, I'm the next generation. Like, I have to be the one that's doing this.
Well, Mrs. Kirkland was even like, let's leave this to the next generation
and
to do.
Peggy was like, that's me. Hello. And so it's just, that is maybe not what a wife should have been. Because she also kept saying, in my time. And I was like, bitch, your time is over. Like, we're done with you. We're moving on now. And that is maybe not what a wife would have been when she got married, but it is possibly what a wife is now.
We need to get Elizabeth Kirkland and Lady Sarah in a room.
Oh, God. Nightmare blunt rotation.
That might be amazing, though. Get a blunt in there?
Oh, boy.
Is there anything else before we go across the sea?
I think it's just Gladys.
Okay.
Gladys and Bertha and Lady Sarah left.
Oh, good.
It was actually really excellent.
So good. And it was so short. It was enough. Yeah. We got it done. But this is what you and me have been wanting the whole time.
And the thing is like, we wouldn't, I mean, obviously everything has to happen the order it's happening, but like, we wouldn't have needed this if Bertha had prepared her, like, let her come out on time, let her get spurned, stuff like that. But it's like, now Bertha has to go to England so she can help do this. And blessedly, Hector did step up, which I love.
I got nervous.
Yeah.
I got nervous at like the 20-minute mark where I was like, dude, I put my neck out for you, buddy.
All right. There just is something about like a landed English nobleman just letting things happen the way they've always been done. But so Bertha gets there. Sorry, I feel like I keep not letting you talk. Bertha gets there and Lady Sarah is immediately managing her. And to when Bertha's like, excuse me, like, what is happening? And so she's picking out Gladys's clothes. She's like doing all of these other things. And
she's like micromanaging like when and how luggage gets where.
Yeah.
Like
which like I'm certain that there's a housemaid for that. Or like someone that's in charge, like a butler or someone that's in charge of the house. So anyway, Bertha is like, is that what is happening all the time? And Gladys is like, it's easier to just let her do it. I don't, and Hector's not really doing anything because it's easier to just go along to get along.
That's what I was starting to say is I was going to be like, I don't like Lady Sarah. Don't think I like Lady Sarah. Don't think like I'm devil's advocating anything like that. But what I do want to say is in her defense, it's not like there was a transition of power. Like, I mean, I know the wedding is supposed to be that, but Gladys she doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
She's not going to take it on her own. So Lady Sarah is just sort of and yes, I understand that she's a villain in the scenario and wants the power and is like trying to keep it. However, there wasn't like a moment until this episode.
Yeah. Well, it's like Lady Sarah thinks she knows best. And if Hector is not actually making her do anything, she's not going to let that little American trollop do it because she's And the thing that was so interesting about, I think it was last week's, where he was like, you are the one that told me to go get an American wife with money. And she's like, yeah, but now
Never occurred to me.
she's here.
To bring her home.
Yeah. So
The
anyway.
whole house smells like hot dogs.
So gotta be an improvement over that slop from last week. So anyway,
that place hasn't had an open window in 35 years. Yeah.
So they're having dinner, and I feel like they have a dinner before the dinner where something actually happens. But no, there's two. There's two dinners. So the first one is when Sarah gets up first, right? When she stands up first.
They just run roughshod over.
Yeah.
Gladys and Bertha, because Bertha was talking to the businessman or whatever, the Lord.
Right. About how everyone should have the vote, that the women should have the vote too. And
that's what it was.
And she did also, though, get Sarah into a corner where she was like, so you think the queen should have stayed in her own business and abdicated the throne? And she had to be like, I don't presume to know what the monarchy should do. So that was very good. And then Bertha and Gladys had like a couple chats about what's going on and what they can do.
Started cahooting for the first time in their miserable lives.
What do you mean?
Could rule the world.
Begging for it. And so she basically was like, you can't let her like run over you like that. You have to, stand up, and you have to get Hector on your side, because if you like express an interest in the estate, he will be more inclined to take on that power himself.
It's so funny. It's something my mom always told me, but us growing up. And it's one of those moments where it was like, you knew I was gay.
Yeah.
Where it was like, she was like, if you like somebody, and it was always like, usually with men, it's like, if you like men, if you like a man, get interested in what he's interested in and let him teach you about it, and you're golden.
I just like would rather die than pretend to be interested in a man.
There's a balance. And also, how much are you interested in this man? Who's the man?
Yeah.
Like, and so it's by Gladys becoming knowledgeable about the estate and the customs, and because they even talk about how like they had sold all of the good stuff, and Bertha was like, you're the money, buy it back. Like, start taking control of the house. Like,
yeah, it was really great. And so she even did it like right then. And then Sarah was looming like a fucking
specter
just coming down the hallway.
It was like Hill House with the hidden ghosts in the background.
Yeah. And so she was like, what's going on? And he was like, Gladys wants to know about the estate. She's going to have Forrester take her around. And she just is like, why?
Meet the farmers, meet their wives, find out. Yeah.
That's what the Duchess is supposed to do. I've seen Bridgerton. I know how it works. And so then I
mean, if you can make the people like you, your job will be easier.
100%. So then we have another dinner where they sort of get into it, because Sarah is like wrapping up the ladies' portion of the evening and going to like do tea or coffee or whatever. And she stands up before Gladys, and Bertha is like, and Gladys is like, Sarah, are you ill? And she's like, no, why would I be? Well, you stood up before me. I just assumed you wouldn't do that unless you were ill. And Hector, to his eternal credit, was smiling.
He smirked.
And then the guy that was sitting next to her, who seems to be like a peer around the area, was like, very well done.
To Bertha,
yeah. Well, no, to Gladys. He said it to Gladys. It was really, really great, like getting her put in her place like that. It was great. Mrs. Bruce is now convinced that Andre is the leak in the house.
Andre was in this. I don't know. I'll accept it, but that still doesn't feel right. I still think it could be.
I think we just have to
from the birdcage.
Oh, Nathan Lane?
Yeah.
McAllister.
All I could think of was Neil Diamond, and I knew that wasn't it. The McAllister. That's what the
book is
scuttlebutt on the internet is, that he's the one leaking stuff because the book coming out.
But how, we haven't even seen him though in weeks. How would he know all?
I don't know. Like I said, maybe it's just the French maid roots run deep in my heart. But I kind of was rooting for her, and she kind of was pulling through.
Yeah, but there were a couple moments in this episode where she was just like standing there, and Bertha was like, "What, Andre?"
Oh,
and to the point where she was like lingering when she shouldn't have been.
Mystery.
Yeah, I
I'll be fine with it.
Yeah.
Although it does seem that they are going to get Adeline back.
They're going to try, I guess.
Because you were like, wouldn't they have been ships in the night?
Yeah, I don't.
But I guess she's just at the train station.
Just like hanging out alone in England. I'd be surprised if she's not working at a house of ill repute by now. So yeah, anyway, when Bertha is leaving, she tells Gladys how proud she is of her.
The woman she's becoming.
Which is really nice.
Got to make sure to keep some of that approval.
Yeah.
You can't give it all away.
Well, she's only done one successful thing. But yeah.
I liked it. Gladys smiled. This felt like the show I was watching.
Yeah.
Where there was a rocky part there in the middle.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
So they think it's Andre. And then
they're gonna try to convince Church, and then Church, Mrs. Bruce and Mr. Borden are gonna try to convince Bertha when she gets home. She had her murder board. She had the newspapers all laid out, and she was like, all these details are kind of only things that Andre would know, because she has access to the bedrooms and stuff. Like intimate access.
Clayton Elborn, I think his name is.
R.I.P., man.
John Adams.
Terrible. Pretty good episode. Just like I said, not my favorite. I can't stand Marian right now. There has to be a confrontation, right?
She can feel that she's not the main character anymore. She's like pulling strings, trying to get this going.
Well, the way she just was like clutching her abdomen and like coming back across the street to like cry.
I kept waiting for her to fall down. I almost made a joke about a carriage running her over in the street because I was like,
ay. All right.
Bye.
Bye.